Good afternoon everyone. Right, today I'm going to look at the Airgo Horizon Lite Driveaway awning. I've been looking at Driveaway awnings for a long time, but been undecided. Those of you who followed me will know I have the direct 4x4 awning that I attached to my Citroen Blingo, and then a tent attachment to go in it, and that was absolutely brilliant. I did have a couple of incidents with it, just because in reality it was a little bit tall for the Blingo. I've had to unfortunately swap vehicles, and I've gone to a van that's even lower, so I knew that I wasn't going to get away with the 4x4 unfortunately, which is a real shame. But it got me looking back at air awnings. They have come down in price, but I found this one on eBay, the price that I was very happy with. So, as we can see, the bag has been taped up, so I assume that the bag didn't last particularly long. That's part of what I'd expect, to be honest. Other than that, I'm hoping it's in really good condition. So time to get the tape off, get the bag open, and let's have a look. Okay, pleasant surprise. The tape wasn't hiding any damage, which is excellent. I think it was just to ensure the tape, the zips stayed shut in transport. So first things first, let's have a look at the instructions. Okay, nice comprehensive parts list, that's what we like to see. Instructions: unpack the awning and unfold so ground sheet is on the bottom and fly sheet is on the top. Peg the four corners temporarily, so that's the same as I do with my airbeam tent. You're ready to inflate. Inflate the beams. Okay, well I think we can do that bit. Let's give it a go. Okay, I've laid it out, looking good. I've got an extra, looks like a ground sheet, or a footprint, like I use on my tent, but it doesn't look the right shape or wide enough. So I'm not quite sure what it is. I guess we'll find out later. It's not on the list of parts. So that's a bit of a mystery. Comes with a small pump, but will be perfectly adequate for what we're doing. It comes with attachment beading, and this is why I needed to get it out at home, because I need to know whether I've got to order a rail for my van, and this is why it's so important to get it up at home and have a proper look. So I've got beading there, but I've also got what they call poles attachment. Now this isn't something I've ever looked at, so that's also something we'll have a look at it later on. Got poles in there, possibly to lift the front out. Who knows? We'll find out. Right, let's carry on. What I don't actually have, and what I was looking for, is tent pegs. Oh no, again, I'm not looking well enough. Right, here we go, we do have tent pegs. Okay, so once it came with it, plus a couple of extras in there, I will go get a mallet and we'll get this pegged out. You gonna give me a hand? Yeah. Let's go. Right, that's loosely pegged out by the four corners. We've got two beams here, and they're the same attachments as my previous airbeam tent and the current one. So that's been left open after it's been deflated, so tighten that up nicely, and then we find the pump. It had a different attachment left on one I like to use, but I don't know what they'd used it for last, so I like this nice chunky one. I couldn't find this previously with previous tents because they were all jammed together, but that's the one we're after. Pop it in, push it in nice and firmly, and then with the pump. And you can see that is easy enough. I'm doing this one-handed whilst holding the phone. But what I will do is put the phone down, because I will want to straighten it as I'm pumping. So that's quite important. You need to give it room to actually let itself up. Once the beam's feeling quite firm, you will need to just go in and lift it by hand. And can you see how that's given it space to inflate? Right, I better get the second one up. And in hindsight, I might have been better off doing the second one first. Okay, we're going to keep pumping until it's firm to the touch. You don't need to over pump, if you will, you'll damage it. There needs to be a little bit of flexibility in there. So I think a little bit more in that one. So it's becoming hard to pump. That'll do. Pump out, and we'll screw that one back up. Getting all much easier two-handed. And flap over. Now I won't lie, it's not proving the easiest on my own. I will get a little bit more into this air into this back beam. But the next stage after this is attaching it to the van, which is why I guess it's not sort of standalone. So let's get a bit more air in and see what we can do with it. Oh, it's looking pretty good. Because I'm not attaching it to the van today, what I've done, put Peg in the front there just to keep it up so we can actually have a look at it. So this is the tunnel section that will attach the van and provide, or sort of make, a little walk-in area, which is where I'm planning on keeping my loo. And then you can see there's a door into that tunnel section, so it's a separate entity. And then up here we've got the zip into the actual awning. I'll give that an open up. There we go. That's the actual awning itself. Right, that's a really decent size. That's exactly what I was after. Plenty of room without being excessive and too much to handle. It is still quite heavy to lift, you've got to be aware of that, but nowhere near as much as my full air beam tent. Lovely big window at the front here, and the whole front opens up. Windows at the side, sewn-in ground sheets, and then that's your section into your van. I really like this. For me, it just gives somewhere, especially in the summer when I sleep in the van, I'll have the door open because it'll be too hot otherwise, and it means I can put the dogs' beds in here. And if it really came to it, to be honest, I could put my bed in here if needed. Say, if I've got my godson with me, he can sleep in the van and I can sleep out here, which gives me exactly what I was after without the full weight and the full hassle of putting a tent up. Yeah, I like it. So, the next thing, going back to our instructions, is to attach to the vehicle, and there's lots of different ways. Straps to throw over the vehicle, beading. I haven't got a wind out canopy, or using the pole, which I have got suction cups. I'm going to go and have a quick look at the car and play with the channels and see if anything will work on that. If not, I know I've got the option of throwing straps over if I need to this week. Yeah, let's go and have a look at the car. I'm just looking through everything, and I've got the strip, and I've got the beading. It is just the awning rail that I need for the van, so I think I will order one of those, and that should be off. Ready to go. Okay, these don't look quite as easy to pop out as I thought they would. I was hoping they'd screw out. So what I have seen is a magnetic strip, which says it works if you've got enough flat area, which I do. So you never know, I might try ordering the magnetic one, give that a go, because it wasn't a silly price. And obviously that tunnel isn't heavy, it's not holding the whole weight of the awning, just the tunnel. And wouldn't it be easier if I could slide the beading in and then put the magnets on, and then I can move the magnets as far back as I want, or closer as I want. So I think that might be what I do, just to get us going. And like I say, if worst case scenario it doesn't work, I can chuck straps over first time away. Right, I'm really pleased with what I've seen so far. Yeah, it's looking good. That extra bit of footprint obviously goes in the tunnel area, which is why it's not sewn in, so that makes sense. I think now I'll get it packed away before it starts raining, It's looking pretty ominous. And I'm going to take it away Monday night and we'll put it up in a field and see how it does in real sort of scenario. There's also a storm pole to add to it and a couple of other bits. We'll have another look and see how we get on. But yeah, looks promising. So that's it, pack it away. Letting the poles down, you want to do it gradually or you get this horrible sort of pop. So just let a bit of air out. Lots of people talk about camping with dogs. This will be Merlin's first proper trip away, and doing things like this around him helps immensely. So he's used to sights and sounds before we're somewhere strange. Alright, little man, it's going to be a bit of a pop. Okay, and you can see how quickly it goes down. Take your pegs out the corners and don't be tempted to tread on the beams. The amount of people I've seen who say they do that and then get burst beams. So just give it time, and then I'm going to fold it from that end towards obviously where the air comes out. Right, that was really, really easy to put away. One fold from sort of left to right as we were looking at it, and then just folding it about a foot at a time, so about the width of the bag, starting slightly less from the opposite end towards where the air comes out the beams, and it has gone straight in. That took no effort at all. So that's a pleasant surprise. Right, I'm off to order an awning rail and we'll take it out this week and see how we get on. Good evening, everyone. Well, I've pulled up at a stunning campsite in Cornwall. As you can see, very heavily overused. Not. I'm looking forward to spending the night here and trying out the Horizon air awning, Driveaway awning. So you'll have seen earlier in the video I put it up at home. Wasn't the easiest to put up, but I'm hoping that will be a lot easier once I've got the car here as well. So yeah, I think it's time to give it a go. I haven't been able to get an awning rail put on the car, and I couldn't decide whether I actually wanted one. So I'm going to try the straps over the top. I wanted to try some suction cups. Could I find them in the garage? No. So I can't try them today. I am so relieved the weather is amazing, and really this has got to work. Basically, I was going to put the toilet tent in as a sort of, if it doesn't work out, I've at least somewhere to put my loo overnight, and I forgot to do it. So let's hope that this Horizon air Driveaway awning works. What I'm going to do is put it up exactly the same as I did in the garden at home, and we'll see if it's any easier here or not. I found a nice level patch, I think I have. I've got the mallet and the spare pegs and things are in the back of the car, so we're set to go. Right, into the car for pegs and a mallet. Now we have actually got a storm due, so if need be I will change the screw-in pegs, but I'm hoping that these will be okay for now. This is where the fact that I've never used one of these before is going to show. I don't quite know where to position it, sort of, and give room for the tiny bit to go to the car. But once it's up, you repeg it all anyway. So I think today is just literally going to be have a go, see what happens. Right, that's loosely pegged out. So let's get the beams up and see what happens. Before I even put the beams up, I did half think this and then I changed my mind. I think I'm just too close to the car, because that section there is going to be the walk-through bit, isn't it? So I'm going to repeg and go a bit further away. Right, I think that's looking a bit better distance. That looks about room for an alleyway in between. So I think it's a case now of get it up, and if it's not right, move the van. First off, we'll screw the valves back in and undo the top one, because obviously I took them off and left them open to fold it up. Without checking back on the video, I can't remember whether I did the front or back beam first, but today I'm going to try the back beam, one nearest the van first. I'm going to try a little bit different this time. So that beam is nearly inflated. I'm going to do the second beam and just not interfere. I'm not going to pull anything to any sides or anything, and just see what happens. It's not what I do with my air beam tent, but I have got the feeling that this is a very different thing. Oh, there we go. That's that front one nearly up. I think I'm going to need to give it a little bit of a hand. It's just got that dip in the middle there. It's just... Right, let's pull it up here. There we go. There we go. Right, let's get a bit more air in that one. Now that it's released, I should get some more air in. That's looking good. Just putting that extra bit of air in has brought that one up right. Now let's see with this one, how about we just try giving that a bit of a pull. Free it up from the material. As you can see, it just seems to get caught up more than my tent does. Yeah, that's not going to work. Right, I'm going to have to try this without holding the camera. Right, that is up. And I reckon we've got about the right distance to the van. It's not going to stay up on its own. So I think it's time to peg out this front section. Right, I am still too far away from the van. You can see that pocket. So I think what I'm going to do is peg these right next to the van as described, then move the rest of the pegs because it all needs repegging anyway. So let's do that. So what I've done is pegged that, and then I've just moved this beam backwards. Now I'm going to check to see if that is about right distance, and that gives me the tunnel I need, doesn't it? So I think that's the way to go. Same with this side, I've pegged that nice and close to the car. I'm going to unpeg this one, move it, repeg it, and then do the same with the next one. It's starting to look like an awning. So that's the four corners pegged. I'm going to put a bit more air into the beams, I think, and then see about attaching it to the car before I peg everything out. Right, if I had an awning rail, this is where this would come up and attach to the awning rail now. I don't, so I'm going to have to see about taking the straps over the top of the car. I need to have a look through everything because both these straps this side have got buckles on, and I was hoping there'd be sort of a strap to take round the other side and then buckle over the top, but let's have a look. Right, reading up again, it's not straps as I was expecting. It just says take one of the extra long guy lines attached to the top corner of the tunnel and throw this over the top of your van. Pull the tunnel up to the top of your vehicle until the tunnel just sits on top of your vehicle, just enough to hold the tunnel to the top side of your vehicle. Peg the two guy lines on the opposite side. Right, let's give it a go. I think I've got it. So that is the extra long guy line, and we've got the same on the other side. There is distinct advantage to having a smaller vehicle. I didn't pull the tent out too far. Oh bugger. Right, I don't know, let's get over. Let's see. Right, let's look at this logically. I've got it too far forwards on the van. If I move the van forward a little bit, will that sort it? I almost need to go forward and slightly over to the side. Right, I'll unpeg the guys and give it a go. Right, I've got the right amount forwards now, and I'm too far away from here. So I'll take it off, wiggle backwards, and angle the front of the van more over this way. If I look at where I need to be, I need that beam ahead of my wing mirror. This is just going to take practice. I think I'm happy with where it is now. So I'm going to get that front peg pegged, and the guys pegged, and then I just need to move these beams a little bit again. But that's fine, we can do that. Right, this is looking really, really good. I think these straps should angle down to the ground, looking at the diagram. So I'm just going to open up the door and see if I get any clues in there. So this is the tunnel section. Annoyingly it's got a mosquito netting, which I guess a lot of people do like, but it is 2 zips. I attached that there, didn't I? Just unhook the door section. If I go in. So this is really nice. So this section here is where I'm planning on putting my loo. And then we've got the whole of this section. The dogs overnight, somewhere to sit, somewhere for me to get dressed. Even put a bed out there if it's too warm in the van. Excellent. I'm really liking the guy ropes over, but I think for me as well, what might help is when I do find one of those suction cups, or even a good magnet, just putting it on there just to lift that, so I haven't got this baggy bit where I open the door. Right, there's not a lot more I think I can do with straps right now, so I'm just going to get the whole thing fully pegged out. Right, we're up. I really like it. It is probably, in all honesty, well it is, it's more than I need. It's not really what I was looking for one night, because it is time consuming. It would almost be instead of a tent, but I really like it. A little bit fiddly to get into place. I guess that will take practice. It sits nice and snug on the car. A couple of things to note. Same as my previous Airgo tent, I really like the pockets for guy ropes, Berghaus, etc. Can learn from that. Windows that can go up if I want them. Walking in, what this means for me is that it gives me, I can sleep in the van and have space to put the stuff that was in the van out here. I can put the dogs' beds out here, we can sit in the evening. And I've got my loo out here. So yeah, really like it. I like where it sits. Yeah, like as I said, the only thing, I will just lift that section with a magnet or a suction pad. But I can't fault that at all. I'll let you know once we've had it up for the night. I could get it a bit tidier. That side isn't straight, but it's not the end of the world. So let's see how it goes. Okay, I was getting fed up with the baggy bit getting trapped in the door. In the front of the car I had some magnetic hooks, and I bought some coat hooks but weren't strong enough. But they're utterly perfect for just popping along there. So what I'm going to do is, I know I've got a few of them, and just pop a line of them along there. And that will really do the job for me. Good morning everyone. Well, I ended up sleeping in the awning for a while last night, just because I kept getting cramp in my leg and it was more comfortable, and I must say really warm, really comfortable, no problem at all. So what I'm going to do now is take the dogs off to walk. I've taken the magnet off the top so you can see the sagging again. You can see how damp obviously the outside is. So what I'm hoping is that by the time I've walked the dogs and come back, it may have dried out, may not have done, we'll see. So I'll get everything detached and we'll head off. Right, that's all unattached, and what I've done is removed that peg as well so I don't drive over it when I come back. What do we reckon? Will it still be up when I get back? Will it be dry? And will I be able to drive and align it? I'm just sort of looking, basically back beam is in line with petrol cap. Right, off to walk the dogs. We'll see what happens when we get back. Well, I've just got back, it's still there, which is a major bonus. Even without guys' ropes out. And you can see it's getting pretty windy. But we've left the grey skies behind where we were walking, which looks good. So I've left room behind to be able to drive behind and try and line myself up. Let's see what happens. Am I anywhere near? No, not really. Let's try again. Not the easiest to judge while it's flapping, but that will do. Obviously, looking at that, if I were going to leave it without the car, I think I would need to peg these guy ropes out. It doesn't say that anywhere, but I can see it being the only way to keep it up. There we go. Just goes to show not too difficult to put back up. Obviously I'm going to be packing it down now. I've got the van slightly too far back, but that didn't take 2 seconds to be honest. And what I didn't do this morning was velcro the front up. My fault, but it didn't take 2 seconds to get it back up. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I just needed to really think about how I peg it when I'm going to leave it without the van. Yeah, I'm really impressed with that. Time to get packed away. Right, I've emptied this out. Just a couple of last minute things to mention before I take it down. There are rings inside for an inner tent, which you can buy to go with it, which if you wanted someone sleeping out there properly, would give you a little mini living section and a bedroom. It would be really useful. And I haven't got a footprint under it, so I just have to go with the fact that if it's dirty underneath, it's dirty underneath, or wet, needs cleaning and drying when I get home. But my thought being it's so much smaller than the tent, it's much easier to clean and dry than when I get home if needed. But today's worked out perfectly for once, and I'm packing away a dry tent. So I'll zip up these doors, let the air out, take the guy ropes off and get it down. Right, so down on the floor very quickly. I've got my peg puller. I always recommend one of these. Let's go. It is a really super easy pack away in comparison to the larger tent, I must say. And now I know I don't need any of those things in the bag. They'll all get left at home. So let's just pop it in the bag. Okay, that took me a bit more packing away than it did when I did it at home, but mainly because I was rushing. So I haven't even got ground sheet in as well. But I've only booked one night on the campsite and don't want to pay for an extra if I don't have to. So final conclusion on the Airgo Solus Horizon Lite Driveaway awning. I love it. It's a really good bit of kit. It's well put together. It works well. Lots to like about. Well thought out, like the other Airgo tents and awnings. Nice feel to it. Things like the vents, which will keep it in good condition for a lot longer. Really like all that. Downsides, it's quite time consuming to put up. And positioning the van with two of you would be no issue whatsoever. But with me having to get out and just check where it is, what I could do is I could get sort of a big coloured peg or something for future. Just so I know where to line it up, but I don't want to risk driving over something like that, so I'd have to think about that one. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this. Really like it as a product. I've just got to think, where does it fit in my camping life? It's basically another tent. I've got a very good quality tent. I've got a very sturdy tent, which I love, my berg house. This is too time consuming really to put up for one night. It's much more aggro than my direct 4x4 awning, which pulled out from the side of the car and I hung the tent from it and pegged it out, which I guess is what I'm looking to replace. The 4x4 unfortunately is too high for this vehicle, so I've sold it. That is probably more what I'm after. I'm not going to make any decisions yet though, because if I take my godson away, he can sleep in the van. I can sleep in the tent section. We've got a loo in the middle of us. It's actually a really good design, and for a lot of people it will suit them really, really well. I was thinking of having my dogs out in the tent while I was sleeping in the van, but with that alleyway sort of in between, it doesn't really work. So they came back into their crates. Me sleeping in it worked very well, and I could have dogs out there with me. But then if I'm doing that, do I just take my tent and put the tent up? So I'm afraid that's the conclusion. Really like the product. It's going to suit some people down to the ground. And if I didn't have a nearly brand new Airbeam tent that I love, it would be a no-brainer. One thing to watch out, as you saw earlier, peg it out really, really strongly. Put the guys out, I think, if you're going to leave it and take the van away. I was quite lucky that was still there when I got back, I think. Although we have had very strong winds here. So there you go, that's my conclusion. Brilliant product. Will suit some people really, really well. Take care, everyone. I'll see you all soon.